Hi everyone, Aaron here for Zollotech, and yesterday Apple released watchOS 10 Beta 7. This is available to developers and soon to public beta testers. This particular update was released alongside all the other regular beta updates with iOS 17 Beta 7 and Public Beta 5, along with iPadOS, tvOS, and HomePodOS updates. Apple also finally released a macOS 14 Sonoma update to Beta 6. Now this came in at 216 megabytes on my Apple Watch Ultra, so a pretty small update, and there are a couple small changes here and there. Now let's first take a look at the build number. And if we go into our apps and scroll down to Settings, under Settings, if we go to General, then About, we can see the current build number. This is 21R5349B. This lets us know what version we're on, and unlike iOS, it ends in a B and not an A. We do expect at least one more beta at this point, though, and we'll talk more about that in just a moment. Now, as far as anything new, well, the first thing is name drop is still not here for Apple Watch, which would mean you bring your phone close to your Apple Watch, and it would actually drop over the contact card. This is not seemingly active in this update yet. Apple added it in the code a couple updates ago, but so far it's not showing up. There's an animation for it, and you'll see on Twitter, AaronP613 posted the animation where it was added in Beta 5. But so far we don't have it active on Apple Watch, it seems, so maybe with the next beta we'll see it. Hopefully we'll see that very soon. Now, as far as any other changes, well, I have noticed that there does seem to be even more animations when it comes to the Snoopy watch face. So they're random and you have to go through them one by one and see if it actually shows them. But if you wake up your watch, you'll see a new animation every single time, and they seem to change. So again, let's try it again. We'll go back in. And again, as we scroll through, there's probably 20, maybe 30 of them at this point. My favorite one is where he's surfing on a wave, but I've only ever seen that a couple times. So there's a ton of different animations here. We'll just go through two more and see what we've got. That one I've seen many times with the typewriter. And let's see if we've got another one. And so far, no surfing wave, but I wish they would bring that back more often. But again, there's a ton of different animations, and it's really nice that they just keep adding to this. I hope they will do this with future watch updates with other watch faces as well. I think animated watch faces are really nice. The palette watch face I like in particular quite a bit, and I would love to see them do that with more watch faces where they just keep adding to maybe some animations that are included. As far as anything else, I'm not really seeing anything other than major bug fixes here and there. So throughout this build, there doesn't seem to be a whole lot other than many things that have been fixed. For example, if we go into the release notes, within the feedback app, there's many new updates and changes as far as resolved issues and known issues. For example, they've fixed the Apple Watch Series 6, estimating the maximum battery capacity more accurately. If we scroll down, you'll see they've resolved issues with the camera and AV foundation capture. Again, if we go down, the complication picker no longer shows entries for uninstalled system apps, and many, many fixes here. So they've really been working hard on this, getting it right, and making sure it behaves as you would expect. Another thing they've seemingly fixed, and thanks to my friend Bram for letting me know, is on the new Wayfinder watch face that comes with the Apple Watch Ultra. This going into the new night mode. Unfortunately, you can't just spin the digital crown to go into that. It does it on its own and seems to be working better this time around, where it's not just sort of randomly activating throughout the day or not working at night when it's supposed to go to the evening or night watch face. That's something they've seemingly fixed in Beta 7, and hopefully they give us a better way to just switch into that mode. That was really nice to be able to spin the digital crown to jump right in that before. Now, as far as anything else, performance seems to be pretty good. Now, I've only been using it for a day or so, but as I go through different things, let's try and open an app I don't usually use. Let's go into the heart rate app. You'll see how fast it loads. Seems to load pretty quickly, as you would expect. If we go into home to control different things around the home, everything else seems to be working as you would expect. Basically super smooth, going into different apps, going into the control center here, or going into the control center or going into our new app switcher. Everything seems to be nice and fast. As far as battery life, well, this has been off the battery, or off the charger rather, for probably 15 to 20 minutes at this point, so not very long, and we're down to 98%. If we go to our settings, we'll go back in, go down to our settings and take a look at the battery. Last time I checked, this was at 100% battery health, which I would expect it to be similar to that. It's doing much better than what we have on iOS. So you'll see we're at 98%, and it was last charged 28 minutes ago. So it was off the charger for 28 minutes, dropped 2%, with the screen on quite a while since I'm filming this video. But if we go to battery health, go down, you'll see we're still at 100% capacity. So the watch is holding up much better, and I charge it at the same rate and as much as the iPhone. I put it on my nightstand at night, and it's on the charger and good to go. So not a whole lot of changes here. This one just seems to be more and more refined. As far as when to expect the next release, if we go into our calendar, typically it's weekly at this point. As we're in these late beta stages, we'll have weekly releases, so I would expect it on the 29th or 30th. Then probably a release candidate the following week or week after that, with a final release sometime around the 18th. So I would expect probably beta 8 and then a release candidate. I don't know that we'll need an additional beta, but we could see a beta 9, but that's pretty unlikely at this point. But usually with iOS and watchOS, we'll get up to beta 8. We'll have that release candidate, and if all of the current news is accurate, the 12th should be when we have that Apple event. Then we'll have the final release typically the following Monday on the 18th, with the iPhones launching typically on the 22nd. So if all of those dates are correct, that's what you can expect as far as the final releases. So we're not too far off, and we should see some new iPhones, some new Apple Watches, and then all of these features, and maybe Apple will add an additional couple features right before the launch. Now, for those of you that wonder what watch face I'm using, I get asked this every video, but this is the modular watch face. If we edit this and then go over to our complications, the middle complication is an app called Lumi. So you'll see it says countdown to golden hour, and maybe it needs an update for this beta as it doesn't seem to be loading as well right now. But we have countdown to golden hour, countdown to moon times, to sunrise, day overview, and more. So it's actually a paid app I paid for, and it's just is really nice looking. We also have music, of course, and then we have our compass, weather, messages, and then date and time, of course. One other thing I forgot to mention is Bluetooth connectivity. It actually seems to be pretty fast. When I was using it with my AirPods the other day, it seems to be nice and quick. So if I place one in my ear, go into music, give it a second to connect, then we go ahead and load this, pick our AirPods. They seem to connect pretty quickly. Now I do have one in my ear and I have other devices around, but now it's already playing in my ear. It's giving the right information, it's working properly, and even that feature as I'm speaking, the conversational awareness is working. You do have to have the AirPods beta on here to have that feature, but it seems to work pretty quickly. As you saw, it started playing and then paused. So all of these features seem to work pretty well, and I think it's pretty great as far as the overall experience now, other than a few things I don't like with the digital crown or the way they've changed it with Control Center. I wish they'd give us an option maybe for some of those in the future. So that's everything with watchOS 10 Beta 7. Not a whole lot of other changes, but if you've noticed anything, let me know in the comments below, and I'll link this wallpaper in the description like I normally do. If you haven't subscribed already though, please subscribe, and if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. As always, thanks for watching. This is Aaron. I'll see you next time.